that in a negotiation, and you've seen this, if you have to have every nickel that's on the table and define winning as you got that last nickel, you've lost. As opposed to, did I get enough of what I needed to be successful? Did that individual get enough to walk away from this in a way that forms this relationship that will carry you to the next deal, to the next whatever it is, instead of a single transaction? So I've learned along the way the importance of really relationships, looking at people as being good. Over time, it defines then, I think, relationships of respect. You don't have to love everybody, you don't have to like everybody. But if you can respect, not personalize, and even if it doesn't go well, if you conduct yourself with dignity and class, it's going to be remembered. Somewhere along the line, my experience, I learned the importance in leadership of winning the hearts and minds of the people that you're working with. So it isn't authority, it's influence. And it comes back to relationships. And if I respect you, doesn't mean I'm not going to ask you to do something you don't want to do, or I have to compromise, on something. In this job, for example, I've been in this job a year now, is to get out on the patient floors. So when you talk to the staff, these are little cues. Are people superficial? Or do you really engage them and ask them a little bit, well, not just how's it going, but engage in a conversation. Do you have eye contact? Is there some contact? You don't have one foot out the door where you're talking to that individual, and you really engage them. You can really read body language. Most people can if they just pay a little bit of attention. So when I say winning the hearts and minds, it's like when you walk around, are there things I need to pay attention to? Are there things that I should be doing that I maybe haven't done? What's working well? It really, I don't think it's not the script, Mark, of the questions. It's the genuineness of which you engage people. When I'm trying to win the hearts and minds, it's really about where are we going, how are we going to achieve the outcomes we need to. If we don't have a staff that really believes in the mission, vision, and values and our strategic objectives, then the likelihood of us succeeding to the level that we should reach our potential, I think, is diminished significantly. Being genuine and sincere, I have the time. Is there anything that I can do for you? You may have a gazillion things on your list to do, but you never let anybody else interrupt that focused conversation. And I think the same is true socially. You go to cocktail parties, you go to different events. If you're talking to somebody you meet and their eyes are wandering around the room, what does it say to you? Thank you very much, but I'm looking for somebody more important than you are. So it's the same thing. If you're going to engage anybody, for that moment, engage. There should be no other distractions. And if there is, then you're really sending a signal to that individual. You're not as important. I'm saying the words, but my actions are saying something else. Because it's really not, Mark, that you have to get so engaged and I'm out of my comfort zone. You just have to be genuine. I think people accommodate for, I know you're shy, you're quiet, you're this, but I know when you're talking to me, you're engaged with me and you're listening to my input or whatever. I think that's the important. It's not about how deep did I get, or did I use the right words, or am I a huggy, warm and fuzzy kind of person, rather than genuineness. I think there's this inner voice that's helped me, and I don't know that people pay attention to the inner voice. And the inner voice is, and it's a value, Mark. It doesn't mean it's the right value, but for me, am I doing the right thing? Because we're faced with all these kinds of decisions. Is this the right thing? When you say right thing, is this really going to help the organization? Not is it going to help me, is it going to help somebody, but what's the right thing to do? So in every situation, if it's staff, and you're looking at what you don't want to do, we've looked at the budget. The budget says you get X number of man hours per patient day. This is what your volume is. You're not adjusting your staff, and therefore, What's your corrective action plan? Okay, that's what you don't want to do. You really want to engage in, you're not hitting your productivity. Okay, help me understand how do you look at this? What drives it? Is there anything unique? I'm not looking for excuses. I'm really just looking for an education. So it's how you approach coming back to respect and caring. You don't want people in positions that no matter what they can't accomplish it. That's demoralizing. So you've got to be candid about that. But the lion's share of people will, with the right approach, they're going to do everything they can to not let you down. Over the years, what I've learned that's worked for me is if you look at the good that are in people, don't look at the negative, don't try to rationalize objectively. Okay, so if the corporation says you must accomplish X, Y, and Z, and they're very prescriptive in how they want you to accomplish that, that's probably not an environment where you're going to see a lot of individual growth and innovation. So understand that. If you're a heartfelt leader, if you're a caring individual, in my opinion, in this environment that we're in, with so much uncertainty and ambiguity and grayness, you've got to have people feel that you've got their back, that you care about them as individuals. And it's not, oh, your benefits are the best benefit package. It's really, do I care about you? If we're asking you as an institution to do certain things, and you feel you're so stressed out, you can't do your job. As a heartfelt leader, I better pay attention to that. Because if I do, then I think we're going to achieve breakthrough performance and innovation and other things that weren't possible. If the people I interact with, and that's why I have a flat organization, don't micromanage, but they're able to say in their own mind, this organization really does care about me, and they care about what our purpose is, and they're focused on that, and all of their behaviors are consistent with that, then I think you've got a phenomenal winning combination. I don't care whether you're in a tough environment with a payer mix that's not the best, or you're in an affluent community. I come back, if you haven't really paid attention to winning the hearts and minds of those people who are on the front lines that make the engine go, I don't think you're going to succeed in this environment. And I really firmly believe it starts at the top, Mark. I cannot allow myself to have 1 ounce of negative energy.